What is up, guys? It's your boy Weeb here, and I have an absolute banger video for y'all today. Now, Season 5 just dropped over on Warzone and Modern Warfare 2, and I have the best settings for you guys to maximize your FPS, get the most out of your GPU, and see enemies a whole hell of a lot clearer than you could before. This video will be a lot more concise than my Season 4 Reloaded video, but that's because I will also be posting a PC optimization video that contains optimizations good for any game, not just Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone, and you guys can find that linked here at the time of this posting. Before we get started, I'd like to say, hey, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, drop a like. Let's see if we can't hit 25 likes this video, all right? If any of these changes help you or you think you have a change that might benefit others, please post that down in the comments below so I can check it out and maybe feature it in the next video. That being said, let's get straight into it, guys. All right, so first things first, we're gonna go to our search bar, we're gonna type game mode, and you're gonna click turn on game mode. This window right here should pop up. You wanna make sure you turn on game mode. What this is going to do is it's going to make your PC focus on your game when it registers there's a game open. And it's going to shut off background applications to stop those things from updating, refreshing, so on and so forth, and taking resources away from your game. And then from there, you can click on graphics, change default graphics settings. Now, I will say you guys, the steps to get to hardware accelerated GPU scheduling may be different if you're on Windows 10. I'm on Windows 11. But you can still get there. You just go through your display, go to your go to your graphics, and then it should be there. Windows 11, just do the steps I did. Now, this setting, as you can see, it says restart your PC to apply your changes. That's because I just was testing the game with it on. And in the in-game benchmark, I got 12 FPS lower for my average score. This setting works well on most games, but it does not work well on Warzone. Warzone is very poorly optimized. Otherwise, you guys wouldn't even be here. What happens is when you're playing the game and you have this on, it's supposed to reduce your latency and it's supposed to better manage the GPU's boost clocks. But what actually happens is Warzone doesn't tell the GPU to boost. And so you end up getting lower clock speeds, which causes lower FPS, which means your GPU isn't using as much power as it needs to and isn't putting out frames like it's supposed to. So it's better, in my opinion, just to go ahead and turn it off. Some machines it does work okay on, or it doesn't make a difference. So you guys are welcome to turn it on, give it a try for yourself, and if you notice that your frames are lower than when you had it off, then turn it off. It's an easy setting. You just on off button and then restart. Easy. So you're welcome to try it for yourself. Let me know in the comments if it worked for you. It does not work for me. So next we are going to go back to our search, and you're going to search CMD, and you're going to hit run as administrator. And I will have this string for you down below in the description. But we are going to copy and paste this right here. And I'm not going to click enter because I already have this power plan added and I don't want it to duplicate because you could do this 5 times and you'd end up with the same power plan 5 times. I don't want that, so I'm not going to click enter. But what this is going to do is it's going to unlock a hidden power plan that's hidden in your power settings by default. It's called Ultimate Performance. And trust me, you want it. So put that in, hit enter. I promise I'm not hacking you. And then you'll go to your power settings and that power plan will be there. You guys will see it right here. Edit power plan. I'm gonna go to power options. Voila, bada boom, bada bang, ultimate performance. This is what we want. That's what that string unlocks. Select it, hit change plan settings. Put computer to sleep never, obviously. And then you're gonna go and hit the change advanced power settings. This window will open up. Set turn off hard disk after to 0. You're going to, let's see, PCIe Express, link state power management, set that to off. And process power management, you're going to set minimum and maximum, both to 100%. And then you're just going to click apply and click OK. Don't worry about the parking cores thing because we're gonna cover that later. And then you can click X right there, and we're gonna go straight into our Nvidia control panel settings. Let's open that up. All right, first things first. Manage 3D settings. You guys are just gonna want to copy and paste, or not copy and paste, but copy the settings that I have here. I will go down it slowly. That way you guys can pause and continue as you want. I'll just explain the more important and crucial ones in my opinion. This CUDA GPUs right here, you want to click on it. Make sure your GPU is selected and leave it on all. Low latency mode is very important in this day and age, in my opinion, because especially if you're on a 40 series graphics card, any CPU is gonna be lower in quality than that, even if you're on the newest Ryzen 9 7950X 3D. Like I have a 4090 system and a 7950X 3D. I'm in a CPU bound case still because my CPU cannot keep up with the FPS or with the frames that my GPU is generating. So you're going to want this on. I get best results off Ultra, but you can run it as just on. What that's going to do is it's going to help better manage the frame generation between your GPU and your CPU to help get better FPS without your CPU lagging behind. And then max frame rate, you want that off because you want to uncap that, obviously. You don't want to limit yourself. OpenGL GDI compatibility, said that to prefer performance. Man, say that 5 times fast. OpenGL rendering GPU, go ahead and set that to 49 or to your GPU instead of auto select. Power management mode, prefer maximum performance. Preferred refresh rate, highest available. Shader cache size, if you are space conscientious, then set it to 10 gigs. If you are not, you can set it to 100. I have 11 terabytes of storage. I'm not worried about how much space my shaders use, especially when I wipe my cache, every other day anyway. So I go ahead and set that to 100. That way I can cache as much as possible and not have to worry about the game buffering as it loads. And then let's see. Sample optimizations on, negative allow. Quality, you want that to high performance. Trilinear optimizations on. Threaded optimization, you want to go ahead and set this to auto. Let your GPU decide when it wants to use threaded optimization. It's best that way because sometimes you need it, sometimes you don't. So you don't want to turn it on all the time, and you also don't want to have it off. You want to let the GPU decide. Your triple buffering's off. Vertical sync's off. You want your virtual reality pre-rendered frames set to 1. Your variable rate super sampling is going to be off, and your Vulkan OpenGL present method is going to be set to auto. Then we're going to go down here to configure surround PhysX. And over here on the processor side, you want to make sure your GPU is selected. Then we're going to go to change resolution. You want to make sure your native resolution is selected because your native resolution is going to allow you to use your maximum refresh rate. Now, if you're on an older monitor, one of these Ultra HD, HD, SD, whatevers may be native. For most of you, it's going to be PC. But whichever one says native, go ahead and use that because if you use anything that's not your native resolution, your refresh rate over here is going to be locked in at 60, I believe. So go ahead and scroll through, find the native, click it, and you're good to go. Make sure your refresh rate is whatever your maximum refresh rate is. And then you want to go to number 3 here, use Nvidia color settings, set that desktop color depth to 32. Should be your only option anyway. Output color format is going to be RGB always. Output color depth. Again, if you're on an older monitor, 8 may be your only option. If so, click it. But if you have 10 BPC, go ahead and click that because it's going to give you better color range as well as better color vibrance, in my opinion. And then your output dynamic range. A lot of people will say it's personal preference, but I really think you should just go ahead and have it on full. Full is going to give you brighter, deeper colors, whereas limited is going to give you darker colors. Almost as if there's more contrast. So I highly recommend you go ahead and just set it to full. That's my opinion. And then we're going to go down here to adjust desktop size and position. And you want to find your gaming monitor. In this case, it's this one and this one for me. And you want to set them to no scaling. Make sure your resolution matches what you set before. Make sure your refresh rate is the max that your monitor can handle. And you're good to go there. We're going to go to our adjust desktop color settings next. And these guys, these are crucial because this is what's going to give you a bright, vibrant game. If you guys have checked my streams out, you know that my game looks outstanding. I don't use any Nvidia color settings Nvidia color filters because those impact your FPS severely. This right here will not impact your FPS whatsoever. You are literally just changing the colors or changing the brightness and the tone of the colors that your GPU outputs. So go in here to your brightness, lower that from 50 to 45, raise your contrast from 50 to 55. Sorry, I think I said lower brightness to 55, but lower it to 45. Raise your contrast to 55. Gamma is going to be 1.15. And digital vibrance. Digital vibrance is personal preference in my opinion, but you want it between 60 and 80. So start at 60 and raise it until you can't tolerate it, or raise it until you just think it doesn't look as good. Personally, for me, FPS games, I keep it at 75. Story-driven games, I put it to 80. But my game looks outstanding between this and the in-game color settings I have set. I absolutely love it. I've had people do this, friends do this, and they were mind blown by how much their game changed just from these color settings. So I highly recommend you try that. You'll be able to see players a lot better, and your game is going to look 10 times better. All right, that is it for our NVIDIA control panel. So let's go ahead and get into the game config file. All right, now for the game config file, you're going to go in here to, I'm just going to open this. Go to your documents. So users, documents. And then you want to find the Call of Duty folder. Click that and click this player folder. Go into it. And you're going to see options.3.cod22.cst. Don't worry about any of these others. You only need to worry about the one that doesn't have BR, CP, DMZ, blah, blah, blah. Because this is the main game config file. And we're going to open that up, bring it over here. I'm going to make it big for you guys. Now here we are going to first search clutter. And you're going to find maximum distance at which clutter models are rendered. Now, this is your clutter draw distance setting in game. If you set it to low in game, it sets this to, I believe, 2,500. And if you set it to high in game, it sets it to 5,000. You can see right here in the config file, it goes as low as 100 and as high as 10,000. So what you're going to do is you're just going to copy this. I didn't copy it very well, but you're going to copy that. And then you're going to highlight this one over here. Man, I am not good at this. There we go. And then you're just going to paste it right there. You're going to put it right there in the exact spot within those quotations. The reason I say go ahead and copy and paste it is so that you don't accidentally type one more or one less zeros, because as you can see, there's 6 zeros here. And we don't want to just sit here and go 0, 0, 0, 0. So it's just easier just to go ahead and copy and paste. That way you make sure you don't screw it up. But what this is going to do is it's going to make that setting in game disappear. You guys will see when I open the game, there won't be a setting there. It's just going to be blank. That means that you did it right, so don't freak out. It's 100% supposed to be like that. The next setting that we're going to change is going to be our worker count for our CPUs. So you're going to type worker right there. And if I could find my mouse, that'd be amazing. We're going to scroll down. And it's right here. Thread count for handling the job queue, render or worker count. This is going to be reflected based off of your CPU. So if you are AMD, your total core count, you want to subtract 1 from that. So you can find that by going to your task manager. It's Control-Alt-Delete if you don't have it pinned like I do. Click Performance, click CPU, and then right here where you see cores, that is your physical cores in your CPU. As you can see, I have 16. And so for my render worker count, I'm going to set this to 15. If you're on Intel, you're going to take that same number and you're going to divide it in half. So if you're on a 16 core processor, it's 8. 10, it's 5. 12, it's 6. You get the message. You know, whatever your core count on Intel is, divide that in half. And you want to make sure that it is your actual cores, not your logical. Logical is how many threads you have. That's always going to be double what your cores are. You want to make sure it is your physical cores. So, let's see. Mine is set to 15, and we're good to go there. Next, we're going to do, this is going to make the water in your game look like pool water. So, select water caustics mode. Water caustics mode 0.0 equals high quality. Yours should either be off or set to low by default. You want to make sure you copy that and put high quality right here. When I tell you this makes your water in game look like pool water, I am not kidding. You will still have trouble seeing people in the ocean, but that's because the ocean is extremely deep, and it's just like in real life, you wouldn't be able to see the bottom of an ocean. But if you're in a river like Al Mazrah, or say you're on Hydro and you're looking for somebody that's trying to flank around you in the water on the left or the right side of the map, you can see them clear as day. The tunnels under Vondel, the tunnels or the rivers in Ashika. Like, dude, it's insane. You can see them no matter what, and you'll be killing them, and they'll be like, how does this guy see me? So set that to high quality, and I'll show you what setting to put in game too to match it. But you're gonna love it, man. You're gonna be able to see people you didn't think you could ever possibly see. Because I don't know about you guys, but I hated the water when this game first dropped. The next thing is gonna be our texture filter. Texture filtering quality level. You want to copy this texture filter linear right here, and you're going to set it right here. I don't know why mine's on an ISO 16, but this is what you want right here. Texture filter linear. This is just how it filters your textures in game, and you don't want any kind of anisotropic because it's going to take away from your FPS. You just want straight linear. There's no multipliers in that. You're good to go. The next thing is going to be corpse culling. This is the threshold at which the game decides to remove corpses from the map. Unlike weapons and ammo and things like that, which is handled by the server, corpses are handled on your CPU side of your computer. So if you lower this corpse culling threshold right here down to 0.5, go ahead and copy and paste this right here over to here, just like we've done for everything else. If you lower this to 0.5, corpses are going to despawn quicker, which means there's going to be less corpses on the map, and you're going to have a better time rendering frames because your CPU is not going to be overworking itself. Let's see. And I do mean CPU because corpses are handled by your CPU's frame generator, not your GPU. And then the last thing we're going to do in here is our sun shadow quality. Let's see, not that one. You have to click through it until you find the correct one. So right here, quality level of shadows from the sun at a distance. You want to copy low right here, low 1 cascade, and you want to put it inside the quotes where it's high 2 to 3 cascades. And then once you do that, you're just going to click, make sure your game is not open, and you're going to click save, and then you can exit it right here. So next, we're going to get into our actual in-game settings. So first, if you're on Battle.net, go ahead and hit your settings here. And on game launch, hit exit Battle.net completely. We don't want a brief countdown, just exit Battle.net completely, click done. And then we're going to launch our game. Now, once our game has launched, we're going to go in here to our graphics settings, and we're going to make sure all these settings are correct. So if you don't stream or if you play on one monitor, full screen exclusive works fine for you. But if you're like me and you're always alt tabbing out of the game and you hate the little black flash you get when you're on full screen exclusive, I go ahead and sacrifice my FPS by just a smidge and do this full screen borderless. Make sure your monitor's correct. Make sure your display adapter is correct and selected to your GPU. We want dynamic off. Aspect ratio is automatic. VSync is off. Custom frame rate. I go ahead and I set my game's FPS to 300 and menu and out of focus to 120 because I stream and like I said, I tab out a lot. I don't want my games on stream going from 280 down to 60 FPS constantly. I feel like it makes the game look horrible on stream and it's a bad viewer experience. But if you don't stream, then you're welcome to set these both to 60 just to save on your GPU. This eco mode, we want this off. This is a new Season 5 feature, and we do not want this on. It turns on power saving features on our GPU, and we don't want to use power saving features on a game that's already very poorly optimized. For here, if you don't play in HDR like I do, then you should have a brightness option. You want to set your brightness to 55. This is going to give you a little bit better visibility, but don't go over 55 because then you're going to get too bright. Your game's going to be too white, and it's going to actually impact your viewing experience. So just set it to 55 if you're on HDR. Then everyone's monitor is going to be different because it's going to be based on your HDR rating. I keep mine on 0.9, but I mean, it's to each his own, personal preference. And like I said, everyone's monitor is going to be different. So don't base yours off mine. We're going to click apply and go over to quality. So for quality, you want to make sure your render resolution is set to 100. You want to use Fidelity FX Cast for your upscaling still. And you want to set that to 100. There are some options in here, like Nvidia image scaling, that give you better FPS, but the game looks like dog water as a result, and you don't want that. We do want the maximum frames, but we also want our game to look good, and we also want to be able to see people. So don't sacrifice frames to do Nvidia image scaling or DLAA. It's just not worth it, trust me. If I had to pick an alternative, I would use AMD FSR 2.1, so you can try both of these and see which one works better for you. But personally, I prefer FXCast, and I think you will too. Upscaling is personal preference. I recommend going no lower than 60, but I think the game looks outstanding on 100, so you may as well throw it on 100. Anti-aliasing is your SMA T2X. The quality is going to be low. Video memory scale. This season, we want to throw it up to 90. More optimization issues. Last season, it was 50. This season, we want to do 90. Just to open up our GPU, I guess its maximum capabilities, so to speak. Because if you have it too low this season, then the game doesn't optimize correctly, which is dumb because I'm on a 24 gig GPU. I should not need to have this set to 90. I should be able to run it fine at 65. But I noticed that I get better FPS if I open it up to 90, even though I'm still only using 4 gigabytes of VRAM for this game. So trust me, just set it to 90. You can lower it if you like. It's not going to make a difference other than lowering your FPS. So, but it's not a huge chunk, so it's fine. Texture res and anisotropic are both normal. Nearby level of detail is low. Distant level of detail is high. Here's that clutter draw distance where I told you it was going to be blank. So we know we did it right. Particle quality is low, and particle quality level is very low. Bullet impacts and persistent damage layers is personal preference. You do get a 1% FPS boost by turning these off, but I think the game looks weird without persistent damage layers and bullet impacts. And I personally like being able to see my bullet holes in the wall whenever I'm shooting, so I keep them on because, again, it's only like a 1 to 2% FPS decrease. Shader quality is going to be low. Tessellation and on-demand streaming are going to be off. Streaming quality is low. Volumetric quality is low. Deferred physics quality is off. And then water quality. This goes with that setting that I made you change in your config. If it's not already, set it to water caustics. This is going to make it so that when you are looking at water, it's going to be clear as day. You're going to be able to see through as long as you're not at the ocean on Ashika or the ocean off the coast of Airport on Al Mazrah. Any rivers, anything like that, it's going to be like your backyard swimming pool, man. You're going to see them swimming everywhere, and you're going to be able to beam them, and they're going to be extremely upset, think you're a cheater. I promise you it works. It's mind-blowing. Shadow map resolution is going to be very low. Screen space shadows is off. Spot shadow quality is low. Spot cache is low. Particle lighting is low. Ambient occlusion is off. Screen space reflections off. Static reflection low. Weather grid's off. Depth of field and both motion blurs are off. Film grain is 0. Make sure you click apply and then go to view. Field of view, FOV, that is a personal preference, but I think you should put it at 120 and just get used to it because you can see everything around you much better, much clearer, and you'll be able to see people outside your field of view that you wouldn't notice at 60. I mean, like, look at the difference here. 60 to 80, like, this pillar is the most I can see, but if I'm on 120, I can see you in my peripherals coming out of spa right here, or coming over here from chandelier. Like, the difference is insane. I recommend you just go ahead and get used to 120. I've heard rumors that anything over 109 breaks aim assist, but I've never found that to be true in my own experience, and I don't know anyone else who has experienced that. So just put it on 120, get used to it. You'll see more, you'll see better, and you'll thank me later. Make sure your ADS field of view is affected. Weapon field of view is wide. This is going to make your weapon look smaller compared to normal, and so you're going to be able to see better on either side of your gun. When someone comes out and they're right in front of you, your gun's not going to block them and take up the view. Third person field of view only applies if you play in third person, but I'd set it to 90. Vehicle field of view is wide, and then you want to make sure your camera movement is 50%. And then we're gonna go over here to actually before we go to interface, there is another graphics setting, but for some reason they moved it to keyboard and mouse. I don't really understand why or what their logic was behind that, but they did it in season 4 Reloaded. It's your Nvidia Reflex low latency. This is that ultra setting from the Nvidia control panel I showed you guys, the low latency mode. I recommend everybody run this at least on. You can do on plus boost. On plus boost helps me the most, but I recommend everybody at least have it turned on, because most cases your CPU is going to be struggling to keep up with your GPU. In very rare cases are you not CPU bound in this day and age. What CPU bound means is that your GPU puts out frames at a faster rate than your CPU can keep up with. So this is like, and a perfect example would be a 4090 with a Ryzen 5 or an Intel i5. Your processor is going to be struggling to keep up with that 4090. Your CPU bound, you want this on plus boost in that situation specifically. But I recommend having on plus boost in any situation, especially if you're running a 30 or a 40 series card. But everyone else needs to at least have it on. Experiment with both. Let me know in the comments which one helped you, or if neither helped you, and just tell me what I did wrong. But from there, we're going to go to the interface, and we're going to hit color customization, color filter, filter 2, color filter target is both, and you want to maximize their intensity. And then your HUD color palette is going to be Tritanopia. This is going to make your game much brighter. It's going to make it look much better, more vivid. And you're going to be able to see enemies way more clearly utilizing this, plus the Nvidia color panel settings I gave you already. So make sure you guys try that and let me know how well you were able to see people compared to before. All right, so let's talk about Process Lasso. Process Lasso is a super advanced task manager that is going to give you better control over your PC. I highly recommend you download it. I will also have a bundle down below that lets you that you can click on. But I recommend you guys install this. Let me walk you through the installer real quick. You're going to click OK. I agree. Next, and then click install. I already have it installed, so I don't want to do that. I'm going to go ahead and click cancel here. And then I'm going to go down here and open my process manager. What we're going to do from here is go to main, make sure pro balance and performance mode are both checked. Then we're going to go to options, and we're going to go down here to performance. Go to your performance mode and make sure that change profile when engaged is checked. Make sure enable automatic detection is checked. Make sure disable idle saver is checked. And then click on performance mode processes. And we want to add cod.exe in here. That is your COD game file. And that's going to tell Process Lasso when this game is open, we switch to performance mode. And what I'm going to tell you next is going to save you on your PC components. So you remember that power plan I had you install before. We're going to go back to power options. You can set your preferred plan to balanced. And then you can click X here. And you can go back up here to power options. And you can click go to performance mode. And where it's, as long as you have this change power profile when engaged selected, you can click select power profile, and performance mode will automatically change you to ultimate performance when it detects a performance mode game opened. So you can save on wear and tear by not running full throttle 24/7 and have it just automatically switch to ultimate performance when you open your game. That's just what I do because I have an expensive PC. I don't want to wear it out faster than I have to. But I mean, if you guys want to run ultimate performance 24/7, then by all means go ahead. But that's what I do just to save on wear and tear. So the next thing that we're going to do, when your game is open, it's going to pop up in your active processes here. You see cod.exe right here. So what you're going to do is you're going to go CPU priority. You want to right click it, obviously right click, and then CPU priority, always set it to high, and turn Windows Dynamic Thread Priority Boosts off. And then you want to click, oh, they made that a pro feature. So don't worry about the Windows Dynamic Thread. That used to be a free feature, now it's pro. Just make sure you have it set to high. CPU affinity, if you are on an AMD CPU, I say again, not Intel, but if you are on AMD, go to always, go down here and turn off CPU 0. I do not know why, but having CPU 0 disabled from processing on this game makes it run so much smoother, and I wish I knew why. I wish I could tell you, but it just does. Especially on the newer 7000 series cards or chips. So just turn that off, and then you're going to go back in here. You're going to right click it again, go to IO priority, go to always, and set it to high. This is going to make it so that it's given priority over other things in your processes, and so Windows is going to look at it and they're going to be like, okay, this is what he wants all his resources going to. So make sure that's set to high, and then we can go back in here to power profile and again select ultimate performance, and you're good to go. The next thing you want is by the exact same company that does process Lasso, and it's called Park Control. You want to download that. It will also be in my bundle down below, and you want to install this. Click yes, okay. I agree, next, and then install. I already have it installed, so I'm not going to do that, obviously. And then you want to open it, and you're going to select the Ultimate Performance Power Plan, because this is going to be our gaming power plan. And you're going to go in here to where it says parking, and you want to make sure all of these are disabled. All 4 of these need to be on disabled, okay? And then go down here to BitSum Dynamic Boost enabled, and uncheck that. We don't want that checked. Leave these 2 checked. You can disable them if you want, but I like these being on because it shows me in my notifications when it changes my power plan, so I know if if Process Lasso changed my power plan or not, and if I need to go in and manually do it, because sometimes it glitches and it doesn't always change automatically. So I like to have it show me when it changes. Then we're gonna click apply, and we're gonna click OK, and we are done with that. The next thing that we want here. I'm going to go over your audio for you. We're going to go to the Microsoft Store. And the cool thing is Xbox users have this as well. If it would ever load, that's crazy. You're going to type in Dolby Access. You can see it's already in my search history from showing it in previous videos. But you want to select this, and you're going to open it. Now, when you are on a compatible device, I have to change mine. Let's go to system. You can go to settings here. I believe system works. Yes. And then set Dolby Atmos for headphones on your device. It doesn't work with SteelSeries because SteelSeries is already its own thing. It used to work, but they changed it a few months back. But anyways, so set your system device, your default device in your Windows sound settings. Go down here to spatial audio and set Dolby Atmos for headphones. And then when you go to settings on here, you're going to have game mode. You want to have performance mode turned on game mode. And this is going to give you a lot better audio EQ for footsteps around you in game. You're going to be able to hear things and know where people are a lot better. Now, I personally don't use Dolby Access. I used to in the past, but I prefer SteelSeries Sonar now, simply for its customizations and performance per game. But Dolby Access is free for 2 weeks, and then it's $15 for life. So if you want to try it, give it a try, then hey, by all means. But this is what I used. I use SteelSeries GG. Hit your free download. Again, it'll be bundled below. I'm not going to go through the installer. I will, obviously I'll show you guys, but I'm not going to reinstall it. Because it's pretty easy, and I will explain it to you guys. Run it as admin. It's going to unpack data. That's just it extracting its installer. And then we're going to click OK, click next, click I agree. And then, well, it's going to install there. I thought there was an install button, but it's fine. So it's going to install now. Good thing I'm not, good thing I don't use SteelSeries Sonar for my microphone, huh? I prefer the Go XLR's, microphone EQs over SteelSeries. I do like SteelSeries for their audio EQ though. Just not microphone. Once it installs, you're going to click finish. It's going to open up. And then we're going to go in here to settings. And it's going to be turning Sonar on. I run SteelSeries when my computer starts because I use SteelSeries for my music audio as well as my game audio. And I have Sonar activated. We're going to click X, click Sonar. And then here you would set up all of your devices. So I don't use my aux, so I don't bother changing that. That's my monitor. You're going to go to game, and you're going to set wherever you want it to play back to. For me, that would be my system TC Helicon device. Chat, I want that to play through my chat device on my Go XLR. Music goes through my, or media rather, goes through my music audio device on my Go XLR. And then this is what where my chat mic would go if I, you know, actually use their service, but I don't use Go XLRs, or I don't use SteelSeries as mic EQ. But this is why I like SteelSeries Sonar. I can go to game and I have my choices of all these games in here, where people have gone in and they have created EQs, and you get all these options for tuning your EQs. For Warzone and for Modern Warfare 2, both, I recommend turning on spatial audio and dropping it all the way to performance and setting the distance to 25. This is going to make the speakers seem closer to your ears, and it's going to make the footsteps much louder and easier to pinpoint where they're coming from. Again, I recommend doing this for both of these games. I wouldn't recommend boosting the volume unless you have problems hearing. If I turn on volume boost, the game deafens me. Like I literally get a headache and I have to turn it off. So I have tried it, but it's already loud enough as it is, especially in that plane. If you have volume boost turned on at all, it's gonna drive you insane. But they have all these cool EQs. I can make, you know, I can even put an EQ on the chat voices of my friends that are coming through, you know, media, music, deep bass, you know, I can make my music sound different. It's wonderful. If you don't use, you know, if you don't use your normal mic EQ, or you don't have your own mic EQ, you can go through this and you can change, you know, the pitch of your voice. You can make it higher, you can make it lower. You know, you can make it sound like you're broadcasting, or like you have a deeper voice than you do. They have all kinds of options. But me personally, I prefer my Go XLR's tuning, and so that's what I use. Just make sure in game you go into your audio settings, and where you pick your sound device, make sure you set it to SteelSeries Gaming for your game audio. And if you have your chat going to a different device, set it to whatever your chat audio is, or SteelSeries Chat. Sorry. But if you have it all play through one source, then you just select that source on both. But again, I have these go through two different devices, and so I go ahead and I have SteelSeries Chat and I have SteelSeries Gaming selected for game and voice outputs. But anyways, that being said, guys, hey, that is everything I got for you. I will have this software bundled down below. Make sure you guys check it out. Again, please hit that subscribe button, drop a like down below if this video helped you. Let me know in the comments what you thought was the best piece of knowledge I offered. And if you have any FPS improvements down below, please let me know. Okay, if you have, if you went from 130 to 150 FPS or 60 FPS to 180 FPS, let me know down in the comments, man. I would love to know what kind of improvements you got. Or hell, even if you lost FPS, let me know. That way I know to go in and work on this and tweak it more. That being said, hey, guys, have a wonderful day, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.